Um, so, last we left off with the group, they had done a bit of shopping, a bit of uh, investing, so to speak. In particular, Bungdo, who went snooping around for less than reputable characters.
I wouldn't say less than reputable, just reputable in a different light.
Sure. Alternative reputability.
Is that like alternative medicine?
Or alternative facts.
Fake news.
It's huge fake news.
Eventually running into a tabaxi, best you can tell, distributor of sorts by the name of Smooth as Silk. After agreeing to front 300 gold to take a shipment of black grass to someone by the name of Busy Bee in Strassa, you instructed this Smooth as Silk character to have the package delivered to the Hammer Striker home. Sometime soon, as the party will be leaving.
Does Smooth as Silk sell women's razor blades?
I mean, you don't know. You weren't there.
You don't know that.
Maybe he's diversified. Who knows?
They might. I could go back and ask.
Is Maya running low? Is that what's going on here?
Wait, does Maya shave her legs?
No, she just walks around like.
I mean, Togar does.
I'm gonna say that Maya is like my grandmother.
We're bordering on TMI here, but
I don't know your grandmother.
Is she a Wookiee?
When my grandmother asked if I was calling her a liar.
What?
Who?
Okay, so my dad always said to me that my grandmother never had to shave her legs. So I asked my grandmother, and she's like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not where I was expecting this to go, but I'm glad it did.
Yeah, no, my grandmother just doesn't have hair on her legs for whatever.
That's kind of cool.
Not like, hairy legs. I mean, I don't have much either, so.
No, we're bordering TMI. I knew it was coming.
That I just have.
I mean, I'm perfectly comfortable with this level of detail. I don't know about you guys, but
I know. I apologize to anybody who ever decides to watch this, except for Phil if he's rewatching it.
What does that have anything to do with how much hair grows on my legs?
It doesn't. It's
Indeed.
Yes. Our wild tangents.
Yeah, it's been one of those.
It's 8:30.
Captain
Bungdo wants to kill something.
So, presumably then, Bungdo, after making these arrangements, went back to the Hammer Striker house?
I mean, if they were back at the Hammer Striker house, probably, yeah.
Okay. And at that point, you all, assuming you would like to, are able to benefit from a long rest.
Oh.
Yes.
While I was working the shop, I did want to, and we can, just for brevity's sake, we can just kind of expedite it. I wanted to have my dad come by and show him how to, create things using Togarite.
Okay.
So it shouldn't take longer than an hour or two for me to show him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because he already knows most of it. It's just kind of how to mix it, how to actually create the compound. So I wanted to do that.
All right. Fair enough.
Yes, and that's it.
Indeed. All right, and he seems to grasp it pretty well. Seems, despite being old and weathered, and perhaps not the conventionally ideal mind to be molding at his age, he seems to have a pretty good grasp on it. So, that being out of the way, and you being able to complete the projects that we had discussed before, the Togarian hand axe and the at least early stages of Trogdor's shield, at least making it a little more pretty for the time being. Yeah, you're able to go back and rest up.
Cool.
So, the next morning, maybe, you don't know because you're inside of a mountain. After a long rest, you wake up and are still just, hanging out at House Hammerstriker. Nothing crazy seems to have transpired in the time you were asleep, and the day is yours. What are you doing?
Do we have anything else that we need to do?
How far away is Strassa?
South?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably a week or so on foot.
Yeah, because rough terrain with mountains.
Damn, I can't fly yet.
We should think about, continuing on our way to where we were going before.
Lord Hall?
Well, Drake's Landing and then to Yord Hall. Or West Coast, at least. Would there be a reason for us to want to stop in Perrin at all and check it out, since that was also on the list? Or do we think our time in Perrin is over?
I guess it depends on what we find in Drake's Landing.
Well, Drake's Landing is... We would hit Perrin and then probably have to go north to Drake's Landing. If I recall, that's how the roads go.
Well, there are multiple roads that span the kingdom. You could go through Perrin. That's one of the more direct routes, but you could also take the road north through a number of settlements you haven't even visited yet. Kind of going around a lake in the process, and eventually kind of curving your way back around to the northwestern region of the kingdom where Drake's Landing is. It's really all a matter of choice. I mean, you're essentially at the opposite corner of the continent right now.
Yeah. So do we want to hit up Ramsgate?
No, we can go there.
Capital? And then we can go straight from there to Perrin, and then up Drake's Landing.
Alright.
Or do we know what is it Tilbury?
Tilbury?
Yes, or Tilbury. Yes, sorry.
Let's
do we know what it's known for or why it exists as a city?
You could go ahead and make a history check.
People there?
I'm gonna go ahead and make a history check on that one. If I can find it.
I'm not even from the continent, and I'm better than you.
Nobody else wants to make a check?
I'll make one.
Okay.
May
Is this
not
just
be on advantage.
What was that, Bunko?
Wow, a 3. No, I was on advantage, so I had to switch.
And what were you saying, Becca?
What is this special about this?
We don't know. We're trying to figure this out.
So it's just a random city?
Well, we're trying to find out, doing history checks to find out what is special about the city.
I mean, but as far as you know, it's just a city.
As far as any of us know player knowledge, we have no fucking idea.
Right.
It's a spot on the map up until this point.
Oh. Sure.
Yearlix?
All right. So, let's probably, I mean, you wouldn't know a ton, even with your 19, just given that you're not exactly familiar with the area, but you've at least heard in passing. It's a relatively small settlement that is home to probably the largest concentration of farms and that sort of arrangement on the continent. It's sort of the core of the bread basket of the kingdom of Akarant, so to speak.
So essentially, it's Kansas.
That's not the most inaccurate way of putting it.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, Ramsgate, and then do we want to stop by Perrin? Because fields and fields of corn are not really the funnest thing to walk through.
You don't know.
I do, because
I'm the one that rolled the 19.
I would think that one of us would have enough knowledge to know that it's a farming place. Even with our purpose.
That's probably the most anyone would know.
That's fine. Yeah, there's not much there, so. Unless we could maybe try to find somebody that could just teleport us straight to Drake's Landing. Eh, that'd be
I don't know anyone here.
expensive. Alright, I guess, so,
Nice that we just go to Drake's Landing and, like, start heading out.
well, right, but you can't just go from Thagladar straight to Drake's Landing.
Yeah, you can.
If you want to cut through, like, plains and forests and shit.
Yeah, why not?
Be an adventure.
Because,
We don't have to. I'm just saying
well,
it'd be fun to explore. Let's see.
It
So
is
we have
reminiscent
Thagladar.
of a legendary hero written of in something commonly referred to as the Elder Scrolls, where he just attempted to traverse the straightest possible line between 2 points at all times,
yes.
jumping up the sides of mountains and
Riding his horse up the sides of mountains.
indeed.
We could go through that fort and then through Tilbury. His village is.
Yeah, yeah, we could.
I mean, if we go more,
I think Fort Eladin
God damn it!
is
For whatever
elves.
reason, I still struggle with east and west. Jesus Christ, which one is west?
West is to the left.
Never eat soggy waffles.
There you go. It's to the left. Helmfirth is like the most west point of the continent.
God, gaps in my knowledge. If we go west, we could go to Kaimor or Ramsgate. But if we go north, we go through Fort Eladon or whatever the fuck it is, then through Tilbury.
I think probably the best part would be Ramsgate and then figure out from there. Because that's kind of like the capital. It goes everywhere. And then from there we can either go to Kaimor and Helmfirth and then to Perrin, or... Yeah. And Ramsgate's not too far away, is it? Maybe like a day or two?
Yeah, probably a couple days travel.
Okay. I mean, if we travel by mount like we did, then probably be pretty quick.
Mhm.
Do we want to do that? Go see what Ramsgate has to offer, and then...
I head outside and start summoning my steed.
I mean, I'm gonna be a
Didn't you
rhino
already
if
have
anyone
it?
wants to ride.
Didn't you already have your steed summoned?
He summoned it at one point, I think, but I don't know if it was.
Yeah, I don't think you put it away after the second time.
Oh, okay. That would probably explain why I was missing a second level spell.
Yeah. Well, you got it back now, so that's good.
Oh yeah. I go outside and wait on my mount.
All right. Well, Team Trogdor is ready to go.
Should we go let General Snowhand know that we're leaving? So, if he has anything else that he wanted us to do,
Probably.
or tell you what, I gotta go. I'm gonna go see Termilla at the chapel, so we can split up and conquer two things at the same time if you would like. Maya, do you want to go talk to General Snowhand and just let him know we're leaving, since you've had most interaction with him?
Sure.
All right. So, yeah. I guess Maya's heading to see the general then, yeah?
Yeah. I'll ask if Frogdor wants to come with me. We can take his steed.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
Not doing anything better for.
Okay. So yeah, with the aid of the smallish platinum dragon, you're able to make your way to the council chambers pretty quickly. And as you have so many times in the last couple days, you're quickly granted an audience with the general, who certainly seems a bit more relaxed today. It would seem that, well, just the return of his daughter and the resolution of all of yesterday's events have certainly helped ease his mind a bit. And so he just sort of sits there and watches you approach, making your way up the borderline overcompensatory long rug that leads up to the platform on which he sits. And as you reach the platform, he just says, "Welcome, monk. What else can we do to assist you, or what news do you bring?"
Just news this time. We were planning on heading out the city soon, and just wanted to inform you of that and ask if you have anything that you want us to handle while we are out of the city.
Well, we typically keep to ourselves, so as long as there is no more corruption to speak of within our own walls, I think we can handle it from here.
Okay. Well, we probably at some point will be back here, so I would look forward to seeing you again then.
Likewise, be safe in your travels.
Thank you. And yeah. Well, I guess partially bow and head out.
Alright. So yeah, you make your way out, and back to Trogdor, unless there was something Trogdor wanted to do in the meantime.
I was attempting to teach my dragon to dance while I was riding it.
Your dragon does not seem to be the dancing type.
Bungdo would like to see if he learns how to dance from that.
Like, not even being there?
Wait, aren't we all together?
No.
Except for-
No.
You were
My
just staying back at the house.
Yeah, so Maya went to see the general and asked Trogdor to come along.
Oh, I missed that part. I apologize.
All good.
I thought it was only her going.
All good. So yeah, your dragon mount seems a bit more, I guess, the serious, uptight type. More concerned with striking a regal and majestic figure than dancing.
As he takes out the bell and puts it on the dragon's head. Or the bell hat.
I certainly had the idea to put my jester's hat on the The dragon.
As he is wont to do.
It just like kind of turns and looks at you as you're sitting on its back, like, really?
Just for that look, I'm putting the bell in your tail too.
Ooh.
I would like you to go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
Ooh. Yup.
As you're doing this, you lean back to affix the bell to the tail, and you're just bucked right off the back of the dragon.
Rip. Two can play this game. Snap my fingers and dismiss it.
Ooh. God
Okay, I
damn.
mean, you don't have a mount, so... somehow you just get the feeling that the dragon was just thinking, fine, this guy's an asshole anyway. I didn't need that shit.
It's supposed to be my loyal steed.
Loyal and dignity are two different things.
So, Maya, as you leave the council chambers, you find Trogdor just standing out in the street with no mount to speak of.
I'll look at Trogdor and be like, "Where's your dragon?"
He bucked me off of him, so I dismissed him.
What'd you do to make him upset?
All I did was put on a hat.
Maybe he doesn't like hats.
He's my steed, and I shall decide what he likes.
Bible thumb.
That works. Well, I guess we're walking back. Yeah, so, yeah, I start walking back.
All right, and you walk back. In the meantime, Togar had something to attend to.
Yes, I'm going to the Temple of Moradin, and I'm going to try to find Tormilla.
All right. So yeah, you make your way back to the central portion of Thogladar, actually pretty close to the front gates, sort of to the foremost Temple of Moradin within Thogladar. And yeah, you probably within 10 minutes or so of walking, find yourself at the base of a rather extensive flight of steps that lead up to the intricately carved temple. Kind of looms above just about every other building that's visible from this point in the city.
Okay. Well, I guess I will climb the steps up, and it's just like a chapel, right? You can just walk in, right?
Yeah, it's not. you don't need to book an appointment to speak with your deity. No.
Okay. Well, I just didn't know if it was like a church where like you walk in and like there could be something in session.
Well, I mean, there certainly could be, but I mean, well, I guess you'll find out.
Okay, but it's not a closed door affair.
No.
Okay. So yeah, I'll go and walk in.
All right. So yeah, as you finish your ascent up the front stairs, you are greeted with a familiar, large metal statue of a massive anvil, atop which is perched a just gout of flame. With the fine dwarven craftsmanship with which this thing is fashioned, it looks as though that flame could still be flickering, despite it being made of, well, some sort of metal. And yet, as you push on, you see that this statue out front is dwarfed by the massive, towering statue of the legendary deity of, well, I guess over deity of all dwarven kind, Moradin, that stands at the far back of this massive 3-story chamber that now sprawls out in front of you.
Okay. I will. I guess I'll head in and. Is it? How is it laid out?
All right. So as you walk in, the large doors that, kind of just, well, the big front doors of the temple are kind of pushed off to the side. They actually seem to recess and then slide along the wall.
That's cool. Is it automated or is it like people doing it?
As you've approached, they've just been sitting open.
Oh.
But you do see a system of sorts that kind of suggests that there's probably a little bit of work to be done. But dwarves being dwarves, they're certainly willing to take advantage of any assistance they can get, anything they can do to make the job a bit easier and more efficient.
Oh yeah, definitely. So okay, I just make mental note of the mechanism they use because that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll head on in.
All right. So as you kind of take in the main chamber of the temple, you see row upon row upon row of stone pew, as well as a number of what to be like small fonts kind of placed around the perimeter of the temple. There are also a series of large braziers with roaring flames kind of speckling the outer edges of the temple. Kind of milling about, mostly toward the back where the large statue of Moradin rests. You see a number of look to be various members of the clergy. Among them, you are able to pick out a familiar shock of red hair. Certainly much more neat and kempt than when you first laid eyes upon it, but recognizable all the same.
All right. And as being that I've been around here, do I know that I can just approach her, right? Like,
yeah.
Like she's not in a employees only area of the church.
No, I mean it's still essentially like this big open chamber. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll walk up there and approach her.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of traverse the large chamber in which you found yourself, and after about 3 steps up onto the platform there, yeah, you kind of stand there, maybe not entirely sure of the appropriate way to get her attention, but before you really have to put much thought into it, she turns and sees you, and immediately, kind of briskly walks over and says, "Oh, Togar, good to see you again."
Yes, and you as well. Oh, I see. You're you must have shined your weapon there, because something looks different about you. You look good. You look better.
A proper bath will do wonders.
Indeed, it does. But I just came by to let you know that we're heading out, or getting ready to head out, and that I thought even though I know you just got back, I figured I'd extend the offer. If you would like to join us on this, you'd be more than welcome.
she seems kind of taken aback. It's hard to. Well, go ahead and make an insight check.
All right. I mean,
Yeah,
I've had this happen before.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell how she feels about it per se, but yeah, there's kind of a pause there, and she just says, "Oh, kind of looks back at the the altar and statue of Moradin and her fellow members of the clergy and everything, and says, well, I don't think now is the time,
Fair enough. I just
but
so,
yeah, I would certainly, I would love to help in any way that I can. I think my place for the time being is probably here."
okay. Yeah, I just felt I should extend the offer to you, as it was quite enjoyable having a drinking partner with us that could actually hold their ale, and I throw a wink at her.
And she just sort of chuckles, and as she smiles a little bit, you see her actually reach down to her belt and pick up a small flask that's been sitting at her side. Says, "How about one more?"
Sure. A good dwarf never turns down beer.
Oh, it's not beer.
My eyes light up.
So she hands you the flask. Once you have the first drink.
I'll sniff. What do I smell?
Alcohol.
I just nice, not like chugging it, just a nice good swig of it. Then
Okay.
swallow it, and I'll hand it back to her.
All right. Go ahead and make a Constitution save.
Constitution save.
Uh huh. It burns going down, but
tears in my eyes. I don't show any pain. Just tears running down my eyes, though, because of the burn. But yep.
all right. She takes it back from you, and you just hear like a couple of, and she just, you could swear she probably took a swig like double the size of what you did, and she just
Yep.
stops it, puts it back on her belt.
At this point, I realize that I need to step my game up on my drinking game. But I kind of wipe my eyes and just kind of just stricken by a sudden urge to donate to the church. And I'll reach in my pocket and pull out 4 gold pieces. And say, this doesn't make up for what I've said to, and thought about in private over the last couple months in searching for my brother's killer and not having any luck. But this will at least be a start. I know Morden brought you to us, or to me, is a way to point me on the right path to finally get some closure for my parents. So it's the least I can do to, just to try to make amends.
Well, she does take the coin, and you see her immediately kind of walk about 3 steps away and just kind of deposit it into a looks like a small collection box in front of the platform. But she says, "Well, just remember, Moradin may be a judge, but he is a harsh but fair judge, and it's certainly not out of line the things that you've been thinking. But I must say that from my own personal perspective, I sincerely think you did make the right choice. Just know that, just know that you might not have been so wrong no matter your decision.
As I said, he was, after seeing him face to face, he has no moral fiber. He has no. There would be no justice in removing him, as somebody would just replace him. So he has his own demons that he has to deal with, and one day that he will deal with those demons. So
This much is true.
I will definitely miss being able to have somebody to talk to as well. The rest of the group doesn't seem to want to talk too much.
Well, they all seem nice enough. Maybe not as inclined toward imbibing as we do, but they seem like a good group. I
Yes.
think you'll do well to stand by them, and well, who knows? It would seem that well, from what I hear, you haven't been together all that long, and yet you already have, well, quite the chemistry for a group such as yours. I wouldn't discount that.
Oh, I definitely don't. It's just nice to have a fellow dwarf. But
I'll try not to miss me too much.
it's gonna be hard. Trust me. By the way, just so you know, my mother is starting a bit of a small brewing company. If you ever should decide that you miss me or the group, feel free to stop by there for a free drink anytime.
I will be sure to take you up on that.
We'll be back soon. And I just kind of throw her a wink and turn, and I'll start walking off.
Moradin keep you.
And you as well. And I'll head back.
All right. So, as you all kind of converge back on the Hammer Striker household, down amount somehow, but other than that, having resolved everything as expected, what would you like to do now?
Gonna resummon my steed and scold it when it comes back.
Sure.
He finds his steed.
All right. So it does shoot you a disapproving look, but reluctantly, then allows you to remount should you want to.
Say, that wasn't very nice. Just trying to dress you up and make you look fancy.
Does not seem very entertained by this.
Am I nearby to see this? Like, to see what he's doing?
Probably around this point, yeah.
Okay. I'll walk up and say, Trogdor, what are you doing? Your steed looks pissed.
Trying to dress him up, but apparently he didn't like it and he kicked me off.
I'd kick you off if you tried to dress me up like that, too. And I'll walk over and kind of scratch under his chin. And I'll say, man, if you want to dress this guy up, you need some armor. You need something cool. You know, this is a fine steed. You don't want to dress it up in a silly hat.
He doesn't understand anything you're saying. He only speaks Celestial.
I'm talking to you.
Just for...
No, I know. That's fine.
Is it safe to say that I'm there at that point too?
Yeah.
So I speak in Does he have his mount out?
Yeah.
Already? I go over and talk to the mount in Celestial and tell him that he looks very, very handsome. With the bell on.
Alright.
Or would if he's not wearing it.
Well, yeah, having just been summoned, actually, that's a valid point. The bell probably wouldn't dissipate with him. So, yeah, I would just say that you probably... The bell dropped as you dissipated the mount. And so it is... I'd assume you picked it up. But it's not currently wearing the bell. Yeah. So...
I mean, that was it. I was just telling the mount it looked good.
Yeah.
I casted an approving look.
Alright. And, yeah, it kind of looks at you, maybe a bit surprised that you're speaking its language.
I already talked to it. Outside the other city.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that. Alright. Maybe not so surprised. But then, you can actually hear it respond, essentially saying, "Well, I look ridiculous with a bell on me, so, well, I appreciate your attempts."
I shrug and just kind of plop down on the ground.
I created you and I can destroy you.
Jesus.
I look at him and say, wow, that's a real dick thing to say.
You don't know.
Oh, you said it in Celestial?
That's the only language it understands. Why would I say such a thing in common?
I don't know. I assumed you were just screaming at it in
No.
common.
Just saying it in a jokingly manner.
Oh. I look at Bungo. Is he crazy?
I just nod my head no.
Wait.
Yep.
Do you understand him?
I say, yeah.
What is he yelling at that poor mount?
Well, he's telling it that he created it and he can destroy it.
Oh, what a dick. I'll go and sit next to Bungdo.
Do I have any sort of kindling that I can just, like, light a small fire with?
Sure.
Cool. I'm going to.
Alright. So just lighting a fire in the street then?
Yep.
Okay. Well, there's a fire in the street.
I'm okay with this. I snap my fingers, I run in, and I'll run inside, grab a couple chairs, and bring them out and set them down by the fire. For me.
Alright. Alright, and suddenly a bonfire reminiscent of cold fall nights in some faraway land known as Michigan has broken out in the middle of Bugladar.
In the street.
In the street.
I won't let it get too big, like just, you know.
Okay.
Sit there and watch the fire.
Frog door, leave your mount alone and let's go. Stop trying to put a hat on it.
Wow. I look over, I kind of nudge Bungdo and say, watch this, watch this.
I'm watching intently. And as soon as we're ready to go, I turn into a rhino.
As one does.
Yes.
Precisely.
North?
Well, I'm ready. I'm on the mount.
Yeah, he just didn't have a response for you as far as the hat thing, I guess.
Yep.
What?
What?
Last time we were sitting around the fire.
Yeah, and Maya was scolding you for putting a hat on your mount.
Oh. What's wrong with that?
Your mount obviously doesn't like hats. Whatever, Bungdo. I guess I'll ride with you.
Bungdo puts his front knees down like a rhino does, so it's easier for everyone to get on. I think I can take 2 people though,
Yeah.
or
probably
just
could-
1.
You could probably take 2.
I'll run in and just very quickly tell my mom, by the way, if Tormilla, you met Tormilla, yeah, if she comes by for any beer, give her some beer. From our...
What a play!
Please. Thanks, Mom. I gotta run, though. They're waiting on me. Yeah. We'll be back soon.
All right. Well, be safe out there.
I will. Oh, by the way, Mom, I got you this. And I take off the necklace that can change into different flowers. And currently it was a rose, complete with like little thorns.
Mm-hmm.
And I take it off and I say, here, this necklace, if you think about whatever kind of flower it is, or that you want, it'll turn into it. It's really kind of cool, but kind of useless for me, and it'd probably end up getting broken, so... I'll let you, let you have it.
All right. And yeah, she takes it and gives it kind of a confused look, but pretty soon you actually do see the silver begin to kind of bend and reshape itself. Well, for the sake of not making you make a roll, I'll assume you know at least something about flowers, and it turns into a lily.
Ooh, okay. And with that, I will say, I like it. And then I will say, I gotta go though. See ya, and I'll give her a quick hug.
All right. Well, try to come back sooner than like 3 months, like last time.
Yeah, we should hopefully be back soon. I'm not sure where our adventure will go from here, but we'll be back by at some point for sure.
Okay. Well, goodbye for now.
Yes, and make sure take care of Tormilla, and I'll throw a wink at her and run out and shut the door.
As you're shutting the door, you hear, "Oh."
Okay, guys, let's go. And I'll hop out, like literally run and just hop as high as I can up on Bungdo and climb up on top and say, "Let's go."
I catch Togar to make sure that he makes it all the way up.
All right. So yeah, you all having either become or gotten atop mounts, you're all geared up and ready to roll.
Hector's with me as well.
Okay. So yeah, heading back for the main gates through which you entered the city then?
Yeah.
All right.
As soon as we start, I say, "Thanks for catching me, Maya. I wasn't gonna make it."
No problem.
All right. So
Hex still here?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Charger said he's got him.
I pulled 2 starfruit out of my bag and throw them to Trogdor. And then pull 2 out for me and Togar.
Okay.
Bungdo just kind of like moves his head to the side and has the one rhino eye looking back at her like with kind of a sad look.
Before I bite into mine, I'll kind of catch a Rhino Bungdo's eyes and kind of nod, and I'm gonna toss it in front.
I'm gonna hold on for dear life.
Yeah, I'm gonna like throw it in front of Bungdo and then just grab onto Maya.
How far did you throw it?
Yeah, are you like baseball throwing this?
No,
or?
no. I'm like underhanded, like throwing it up in the air so that he can see it and be able to like grab it.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Bungdo
You
goes
know.
up on his hind legs and grabs it out of the air.
Yeah. It's essentially
All
like
right.
just like tossing it to a dog.
Except you're on the dog's back.
Yes. Which is why I said I grabbed Maya.
All right. Given that this is something you can kind of prepare for, I'd say we could at least make checks rather than saves. So let's get a couple of athletics checks.
Maya is like clenching her thighs like nothing else. Athletic.
Athletics. Well, those thighs really come through for you. Togar, though.
I go to
so
grab
much.
Maya and I miss and just whoa! And just fall flat on my back.
Can I try and catch him?
Sure. Go ahead and make a dex save. All right. So as Togar goes tumbling, like about to just start flipping down through the air before probably landing face first in the pavement, you do manage to catch him like just by the hem of the pants. So,
Just yelling.
yeah. So you now have a dwarf just dangling by one foot from your outstretched arms.
Well, I mean, when Bungdo lands, can I beat him back down?
Sure. And so after a near miss there, Togar, you find yourself comfortably, if a bit embarrassedly, back atop the rhino.
And
Thanks
then I
again,
hand
Maya.
him the fruit.
What was
Thanks.
that?
Then I hand him another star fruit.
Ah, okay.
Thanks, Maya, and thanks again for saving me. As I'll just very gingerly and sheepishly take a bite of the starfruit.
Bungdo looks like a happy rhino and then starts walking.
All right. So
Yep.
yeah, after. Oh, were you gonna say something?
Oh, I was gonna say I'm gonna give my star fruit to one to Kex and the other to the Mount.
Oh, okay.
Then I throw Trogdor another star fruit.
Because you're in such short supply of starfruit, as we all know.
I mean, he only has 2 arms. He can only have 1 star fruit at once. Keep throwing people star fruit.
Yeah, but all right. So you make your way toward the edge of town, back through the interior gates and through the long, somewhat claustrophobic entry tunnel that connects the city proper to the exterior front gate. And after a few more minutes of travel, you finally break out into the open, and for the first time in a few days, are able to see true overworld daylight once again. It's a bit harsh as you make your way out of the cavern, and pretty much all of you are, at least for a brief moment, kind of forced to at least get some kind of cover for your eyes as they adjust.
So Fallout 3 coming out of the vault.
Very much like that, yeah.
Gotcha.
I stretch arms wide open, enjoying the sun.
Trogdor Sunbro confirmed.
I mean, I live in a desert.
Sun on my skin.
Yeah, so as you surface dwellers reacquaint yourselves with the sun,
I kind of hiss at it, just. Oh,
yeah, Togar, it does hit you especially hard. I mean,
Yeah.
given that, you're not exactly, this isn't exactly your ideal situation, but
Yeah.
hey, at least you're not one of those scummy Duragar or anything.
Yeah, I'll kind of pull my hood a little lower, just to kind of lean down like more towards Maya's back, like kind of use her as to block the sun.
Mm-hmm. All right. And yeah. So, what was the final decision on where you guys are heading?
What the fuck? Ramsgate.
Okay, so you
as
do
our
want to move.
immediate one.
Gotcha.
Off the Ordal.
What? You got to go to Ramsgate to get to Yord Hall. You got to walk before you can run.
Going around.
You're going to go completely around the world to avoid going across this continent.
Yes, he actually turns around and goes back into Thogladar, the back gate, which apparently is a thing, and walks straight out into
the
into the Elathlian Ocean.
Well, Rip Trogdor. Wait, did Dragonborn swim?
You don't know.
Exactly.
I think I would be able to.
What? Swim?
Yeah.
But you couldn't do it
Yeah,
in that
probably.
armor.
That's a valid point.
You're wearing lead anchors on your body. Or steel anchors. But...
Just have to roll high athletics.
Or install a flotation device in your armor.
That's a picture.
The little arm floaties.
Yes! I was thinking, like, have your plate armor just floating with little tiny bump packets underneath, like, each little plate. So it's, like, all floating up and looks weird.
No, probably badass, like, leather-studded floaties would be the way to go.
Yeah, that'll work. It's like sheep skin or sheep stomach for the actual sack that holds the air.
There you go.
Jesus.
They use properties of that in bubblegum, I believe. So
The more you know.
yeah.
So anyway, yeah, you make your way kind of down the winding path that heads out from the front gate of Thagladar, and travel on through the kind of foothills and eventual more rolling plain type of terrain that makes up the majority of central Akarant. After probably 5 or 6 hours, you come to a fork in the road. There is a signpost planted in one corner, and pointing off to the 2 potential paths. To your right, you see a sign that reads Vramsgate, capital of Akarant, written in very proper and fancy script, as well as one sign pointing dead ahead toward Kaimor.
Did someone just die?
Maybe.
It wasn't me. Okay, I think we're all
What?
here. It sounded like somebody just like threw their headset or something.
Or face planted on their keyboard?
That too.
Oh, I probably hit it with my hand.
Damn it, Phil.
I'm sorry.
So, you stand at the fork in the road, and you decided that you want to go to Vramsgate, yeah?
Yes.
Yep.
So, if there's no disagreement within the party, you head off to the right, heading, by your estimation, straight north for another couple hours. You can see off in the distance the towering wall of Vramsgate just kind of cresting the horizon, coming into view. Probably not going to make it there within a single day's travel. So you'll either have to find a place, roadside or perhaps an inn if you travel long enough, to rest for the evening, or you could push on and, run the risk of exhaustion or running into whatever may patrol the plains at night.
I mean, I'm fresh. I'm good. Do we want to just push on and try? Like, how do we know how much farther it would be?
Probably looking at another approximately half day's travel, so like 4 hours.
We could do that. Spend the rest of the night and the next day to recover, and then head out. This is me more talking to like Maya, basically. She's the only one in earshot.
I mean,
Is there any difference of stopping for the night here or exhausting ourselves and then stopping for the night there?
So we'd be able to get into an inn there rather than sleeping on the side of the road.
I mean, I don't know. Sleeping on the side of the road doesn't bother me.
Yeah, but the last time we slept on the side of the road, I ended up out 50 gold, and we had our keg stolen.
I guess we can keep going until we find an.
Are there inns just going to be along the way, or do we, like...
If any of you would like to make a history check, you could try and remember what you may be able to find here. Alright, so Maya, you, in your limited travels, have actually traversed this road before. You do remember there being some, kind of smaller, rundown-looking establishment, maybe, another hour and a half or so ahead. Detail-wise, you don't really remember very much.
Okay. Well, there should be an inn about an hour and a half up the road.
Hey. Yeah, that works then. Just so we don't have to sleep out here and run the risk of getting eaten.
Alright. So, just gonna push on until you get to this inn.
Yeah.
Alright. So, you go on for the next half hour, 45 minutes, and you're just sort of reaching dusk at this point. And as you round a corner and kind of clear a small kind of grove of trees through which the road's been routed, you see sitting along the side of the road a single figure wearing kind of stained, dirty, basically some cheap torn up robe. They don't seem to have noticed you. You're just sitting there, and you see, from your vantage point, that they appear to be holding some kind of, maybe cup, something like that.
We all see this?
Yeah, it's pretty apparent.
Bungdo just kind of stops and then crouches a little bit, so they know what's going on. I know to look.
I'm gonna approach the guy.
Oh, okay.
So you're hopping off the mount?
I'm gonna slide off Bungdo.
Yeah, same here. I'm gonna go stealth away into the forest. Off the road, basically.
Okay.
I'm gonna approach them with Trogdor, I guess.
I'll walk up as well.
Is a rhino?
Yep.
Bring in my mount too.
All right.
And I
So a
Black
rhino, a
Jews.
dragon, and a dragon man.
and a black lady monk.
Can I do an intimidate roll? Just to be like big and imposing?
Sure.
Is shifting? Not really.
With advantage because he's a fucking rhino.
I think that holds up there.
Okay.
I've probably never seen a rhino.
Valid point. Yeah. So as you make your presence known, you do see the figure kind of turn, and you're met with the kind of messy, dirty, dusty face of a younger human woman, probably no older than 25, 26. What you can make out, really, is that she's, well, quite dusty and dirty. Her blonde hair is a mess, kind of just brushed back as much as she can out of her eyes to at least be able to see in front of her face. She looks up, and upon making eye contact with a rhino, a dragon man, and a still rather imposing looking female monk, she quickly averts her gaze and just kind of looks down. And you see she just ever so slightly kind of just holds out this small worn wooden cup in front of her. And that's all she does.
I ask her what's wrong.
Bungdo tosses a coin in. Oh wait, he can't. He's a rhino. Damn it.
And yeah, as you approach, you do notice that at the bottom there are 3 copper coins kind of just rattling around the bottom of this cup.
We could mug her.
Can I insight check her from the woods?
At disadvantage.
Okay.
I'll put a platinum in there.
What?
Do I know what she's on about at all?
I mean, just seems like a beggar, really. Not a whole lot to glean, especially from your perspective.
Okay. Thinking that, okay, she's a beggar. Can I do a perception check to make sure that there's nobody else in the woods with me? Like that this is like an ambush or something?
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check. All right. So yeah, you look around, and it's getting kind of dark. It's tough to see, but you're not really. I mean, you're not able to make anything out. Seems
Okay.
like you're alone.
Okay, I'll just settle in and just keep an eye on everything.
Okay.
So what'd you put in her cup, Trogdor?
1 platinum.
1 platinum?
Yep.
Can I, like, kind of, like, catcher sit? You know what I'm saying? Like the catcher in baseball?
Yeah, like kind of the squat almost.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Next to her and ask her, why she's out here.
Sure. So, yeah, upon the clattering of the platinum coin in her cup and Maya kind of approaching her and seeming to, well, be curious as to her predicament, she does actually speak for the first time. And first words out of her mouth are, Gods bless you, stranger. Looking up at the dragon man in front of her. And after that, she kind of looks over to Maya and just says, well, I've fallen on hard times, to say the least. And, well, I don't really have much else to do. I don't have many other options. But I do truly thank you for your, well, your act of charity here. And as far as, well, everything else, I'm sorry I can't really do anything else to thank you. And then she kind of hesitates for a moment, looking around, and seems to shrug something off. But, well, Gods bless you, strangers. Be safe.
Can I ask her what's troubling her?
Yeah, she just says, oh, I just had this strange sensation of being watched, but it seems like it was nothing.
When I look around, do I notice anything?
Go ahead and make a perception check. Nope.
What about Bungdo's rhino-like senses?
Go ahead and roll for your rhino-like senses. No, not really. I mean, well, Trugler sees a dwarf crouched in the woods.
Wait, does he? I rolled a 25.
Oh, that's right. That was your perception roll I looked at. He did not see a dwarf crouched in the woods.
Do I realize that she is talking about me?
I mean, could be, or she could just be paranoid. I'd say if you'd like, you could make an insight check.
Yep, insight check.
I mean, could be you. You're certainly watching.
Can I do one more perception check?
Yeah.
Don't see anybody. Okay, I'm stepping out of the forest.
All right. And yeah, you're just strolling right up then.
Yep, I'll just walk right up like nothing happened. I'll just say, that might be me.
Oh, indeed, it might have been you.
Can't be too careful.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's fine. Just well, surely you don't have any ill intentions, do you?
No, I'm with them.
She kind of looks over at Trogdor, who she seems to trust the most out of this group.
I didn't put another 10 gold in her little cup.
Okay. And her eyes are just like, her eyes go wide, like, in shock. Like, she has not seen this much money in quite some time.
What may I ask, what skills do you have?
Well, I can write, I can read, that's really about it. And you notice that she's looking at your armor, and you can kind of see some wheels turning in her head, and before you're even able to formulate anything or ask what she's thinking about, she looks at you and says, "No, I just had a thought," and she kind of reaches into a pocket kind of in the interior of her tattered cloak, and she pulls out this just little tiny greenish jewel,
Oh.
and she says, "A traveler earlier today left this with me. I'm afraid I really don't know what it is, what it's worth. Um, would you?" And I don't mean to generalize, but I mean your people. They
Oh, you want me
seem
to
to
take a
know
look at it?
things.
Yeah, I can take a look at it.
Oh well, thank you. Go ahead and make a check, and don't forget to use your stone cunning.
Okay, that is just double my proficiency, right? Or double my... What is that? That's double proficiency, right?
Yeah.
Right. So basically, you roll, and if proficient, you then just add your proficiency bonus again.
Okay. Check. That's... Yeah, that's bad. Can I Arcana check it?
Sure.
I'm gonna also Arcana check it. He is like +7.
Okay. Yeah, if
I'm
you'd
not-
like to do that.
I waddle over and touch my horn to it.
Okay.
Damn it.
All right.
We literally know the exact same amount of info about it as each other.
So, even with the rather lackluster rolls, Togar, you are able to discern that this little gem, this little emerald, just what it appears to be,
Okay.
it's probably worth somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 gold.
Oh. I say, well, judging by, the cut of it and, the purity, I'd say probably 1,000 gold? I'll tell her.
All right. And
Is it just a gem, though? It's not magical, right?
it does not appear to be magical in any way. No.
Okay, I'll say it's just a gem, no magic to it. But it's a fine gem. By any chance, do you happen to remember who gave it to you? Because that's an awful lot. No offense.
At this point, you see her form begin to shimmer a bit. And while it's not drastic, you see the dirt that caked her face begin to kind of clear away. You see her hair suddenly become, in fact, quite elegantly styled, and her tattered robes become exquisite, borderline like gilded, fine robes.
I drop the gem, draw my hand axe, and just take up like a defensive stance.
And immediately she just says, "I mean you no harm. This
Right.
gem is a family heirloom of mine, and I was merely using it to test travelers that pass by here."
Oh, I'll mage hand pick it up and hand it back to her and say, "Oh, okay." And I'll drop my hand axe, and as it hits the ground, it pops into my belt.
Okay.
I want to insight check what she just said.
Okay. I mean, given what you've seen of her ability to deceive thus far, it's certainly possible that she's lying, but you don't see any clear indication that that's the case.
Okay.
What brings somebody dressed as elegantly as you out into places like this?
Well, suppose let's start things in a more civil manner. My name is Melina Ravendal. heiress to Count Magnus Ravendal of Ramsgate.
Can you spell that?
Yeah, let's see. I'm just going to go ahead and put all of this stuff in.
Yeah, that works. That's awesome. I can just copy paste that.
That's what I did.
Sweet. And that's of Ramsgate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do a history check to see if I've ever heard of her.
Sure.
Okay. Don't fuck me, Gil.
Gil and his digital dice.
Yes.
Yeah, the name certainly rings a bell. I mean, I don't know that you would have heard of Melina specifically by name, but the family is pretty well known. As a matter of fact, you probably recognize the name from dealings in fine jewelry.
Okay. So, I mean, but I know they're like just your typical higher, like he's your typical count. Like he's not really known for being evil or being malicious or anything, right?
No, I mean you really haven't heard a single bad thing about the family.
Okay, and I'll say, oh, yes, your father's the count. Yes, I've heard of why. What brings somebody like you out here?
Well, I don't exactly have to work for my money, so to do something to pass the time.
But begging for begging? Really?
There's a bit more to it than that, but and she kind of slowly stands up and she makes a beckoning gesture in the general direction that you had emerged from the woods, and you see this towering armored figure come crunching his way out from beyond the tree line.
How the hell? And I'll throw my hand axe on the ground and just kind of like, I was just there and how did I? Whatever. And as the hand axe materializes back to my hand, I just freaking throw it just down the road.
All right.
And I'll just have it pop back to my belt.
In the interest of transparency, this is my guardian, Eldon.
Is it a humanoid or is it like a golem?
No, definitely looks like a humanoid wearing some pretty hefty armor.
How do you spell his name?
Eldon, Eldon.
Okay. Okay. Nice to meet you. And I look at her. How? I was right there. How did he? What?
She just smiles.
Right. Well, what can some lowly adventurers do for someone such as yourself?
Well, you certainly seem like the type that your father would like to meet.
Yeah. Okay. I look at the rest of the group. Any objections?
Why would you want to meet us?
Well, as I've said before, we do have quite a bit of money, and father is one, as am I, to, shall we say, sponsor worthy causes.
I'm
Bungo's
interested.
eyes light up, and then just kind of like goes over to her. like he's following.
I summon Mage Hand and facepalm with Mage Hand. That's Bungo does this.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll also check the rest of the group's faces, like Togar.
I offer a seat on my mount.
Just shove Kex off and offer a seat.
No, her and Kex can sit up there.
Oh. Oh, you get off.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I'm just imagining Trogdor like sitting on his mount and just boom punches Kex off. Just taps on the back of his mount. Oh, sorry.
Indeed. All right. Yeah. So she just holds up a hand and says, "Oh no, I can walk just perfectly well, thank you."
Oh, yes. Go.
I'll say it appears you are at least a practitioner of some form of magic. And I kind of mage hand and just kind of have it wave and then dissipate. I say, as am I. You don't happen to have a way to transport a group or anybody to expedite the travels, do you?
She kind of gives you a confused look for a moment and then says, "Oh, you mean like teleportation or something like that, yes?"
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not that advanced, but well, I certainly have some useful skills here and there. But yes, I'm afraid we would have to take the road to get there.
Okay. Just figured I'd ask. Yeah, it's where we're heading anyway, so. Anybody else have anything?
No, I think Bungo's good. He's ready to go.
Yep.
Do you still need my money?
She just chuckles and pours out the wooden cup into her hand and hands you the essentially 2 platinum and 3 copper that were in it.
You can keep the copper.
Suit yourself. She just kind of tucks it away into a coin purse at her side. But yeah, and then she just casually turns around and says, "Well, come along then."
Okay. I'm inspecting the big dude's armor.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and let's call it a perception check, I guess, if you want to kind of scope it out. I mean, it's pretty nice. I mean, you're a proud dwarf, so you wouldn't say it's the finest you've ever seen, but
No, but I mean it's pretty good.
yeah, no, it's certainly high end.
Okay. I'll just say hey, Eldon, where did you get your armor? Just out of curiosity.
No, bought it at a shop in Ramsgate.
I'll have to find out who made that, because it's pretty good. I myself am an armor smith from Thogladar. Togar Hammer Striker, and I'll reach up as high as I can, but is he a human, or what is he? Is he...
It's hard to tell, really. I mean, he is decked out in heavy armor, but
Is he bigger than me?
I mean,
Yeah, is he as big as Trogdor or bigger?
he's about Trogdor's size.
Okay, I'll reach up to shake his hand. Then.
Okay. He stops and reaches down with one heavily gauntleted hand and, kind of gives you a stiff shake.
Okay. Say, wow, let's. How were you able to? How close were you to me, back there?
Close enough.
And I kind of turn a sly eye and I'll say, "You also dabble in the magics, don't you?"
To be honest, I really don't. Though I do have friends.
Ah, gotcha. I kind of just waggle my fingers. Just fair enough. Never can be too careful, can we?
Of course not.
All right. Just getting to know him. That's all.
Yeah.
Always going, and I'll introduce myself to Melina.
You kind of cut out for the first part, but it sounds like you want to introduce yourself to Melina.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, you do that, and she just seems very cordial. The whole pleasure to meet you, that whole deal.
Okay.
But yeah, and so you are walking along the road to Vramsgate, and seemingly on the way to visit a count. And given current time constraints, it would seem that now would be a good time to end the session for tonight.
Indeed.